Let's stay in the US now. And is America ready for gun reform? This week we saw yet another school shooting in the US, this time by a 14-year-old who allegedly was gifted the gun as a birthday present by his own father. Joining me live is Republican strategist Matt Klink. Matt, this is heartbreaking to watch from where we are. It must be intolerable from where you are placed.
Oh, you're right, Tim. It's terrible to see these horrific incidents happen. But the challenge is the cure to solve this problem, would it create more problems than it solves? And that's where we run into difference, because we have this pesky little thing called the Second Amendment in California, and our amendments are listed in order of importance, with speech being first, the right to own a gun being second.
And it's a law that dates back hundreds of years, isn't it? And when you look at the stats, it's remarkable. It's the 45th school shooting in this calendar year.
Yeah, look, these things are horrific, and anyone that has children, you collectively gasp every time one of these things happen, and yet politicians make, again, random mistakes. There are things that can be done. For example, don't let people with mental issues have guns. Or, if someone like this young man apparently was law enforcement questioned this young man earlier, he should not have been allowed access to the gun. I think that the father faces up to, I think 100+ years in prison because the young man was still a minor. So, I mean, he's going to get hammered by the law, but that doesn't help the families. But the challenge is how do you prevent these from happening? I don't think that, there are, I think, 300 million AR-15 type rifles in the United States. I don't think there's going to realistically be a mandatory gun buyback program. So, I mean, how do you resolve this problem? It's one that vexes both sides of the political aisle in this country.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm old enough to remember Port Arthur, which was an international story back in the 90s, and then John Howard, who was our Prime Minister, and that will always be his legacy, the gun reform and the change. It is more complex in the US, but let's hope that something is done.
Don't forget, it's not a law. It's actually in our Constitution. So it's just not like changing a traffic statute.
No.
It requires, I mean, it's a big deal to make this happen.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the election. And unfortunately, I don't think gun reform is going to be one of the top issues of this election. It will be primarily fought, when we drop all the white noise, in and around the economy. And both the Republicans and the Democrats have been on the front foot over the past few days. This is very, very tight, this election. It's very tight.
Oh, absolutely. We're looking at roughly 7 states, and only certain parts of those 7 states determining who is the next president of the United States. Right now, Mrs. Harris has a slight edge, but Donald Trump is actually ahead in polling from where he was at this time in 2016 and in 2020. And we know that Donald Trump actually performs better on election day than he does in public opinion polls. So I think that the Trump camp is looking very optimistic about where they are right now. But the Democrats have new life. Once Joe Biden dropped out, the party breathed a collective gasp. And now they have someone who is at least young and vigorous who can run a legitimate campaign against Donald Trump.
The real challenge from where I'm sitting watching Donald Trump is he had a very well scripted view on Joe Biden. He knew exactly how he would attack Joe Biden, and that was choreographed to within an inch of its life. He doesn't seem to know yet, and there's still a couple of months to go, exactly how to attack his opposition.
That's a very astute observation, and I think that he's getting more and more focused, and the 2 candidates have their first and right now only presidential debate on September 10th, U.S. time, which would be Wednesday, your time. So I think that if Donald Trump is successful, he will talk about the Trump economy versus the Biden and Harris economy. For example, everything is more expensive. Gasoline is significantly higher. Food costs are skyrocketing. Inflation over the last 3.5 years under the Biden and Harris administration is at 19.7%. Home mortgages are more expensive. So, he has a very positive case to make. And in addition to that, the issue of immigration is one that is now a 50-state issue because the Biden-Harris camp has let in upwards of 10 million people into this country illegally. And Republican governors in states like Texas and Florida have bussed these illegal immigrants all over the country to make this a national issue.
Well, this debate is
The
going to be.
flip of that,
Yeah, sorry, I'll let you wrap there.
it's going to be must-see TV. It's going to be really, really interesting.
Oh, well, the first debate was all that, wasn't it, with Joe Biden? So this is going to be absolutely pivotal. Matt, let's make sure we have a chat over the next couple of months because we're bearing down. We've been saying 5 months away, 4 months away, but this is now under 2 months away, this US election. It is like watching Hollywood blockbuster. It really is. And we'll chat soon.
I'd like that. Thank you. It's crunch time right now.